everybody, welcome back to another fun-filled Super Geeked video. This time, I'm not talking about records, I promise. Today, I'm gonna tear a page out of Gaela's book, and I'm gonna be talking a little bit about books. So, I wanna go over some of my favorite reads from this past few months or so. I'm not even gonna lie, I haven't had a whole lot of time to read. I've been super busy. And so I'm going to talk about a few of my favorite books that I've read, and just kind of, if you guys are interested, definitely check them out. They're definitely worth it. Most of them actually are readily available on Amazon.com. If you go that route, which I usually do, but your local bookstore probably will have them also. So anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to start off with Total Tank Girl. So most everyone who knows me is aware of the fact that I'm a Tank Girl freak. I have been a Tank Girl freak since I was, old enough to read a Tank Girl comic. The originals were spectacular. And then of course, now Titan Comics is taking up the mantle and they're doing some great stuff with Tank Girl. So this is three different graphic novels all crammed into one gigantic, you can see how big that is, one gigantic volume. So it's like Everybody Loves Tank Girl, Solid State Tank Girl, Bad Winds Rising, and Total Tank Girl. So, I'm sorry, that's four, isn't it? so there's 4 books in this one. And, of course, the stories are bonkers, they're bananas. This volume is like a banana sandwich on crack. It's so good. If you're a fan of that type of comic, it's very surreal in a lot of ways. It's definitely not a superhero comic. It's sort of an anti-hero type thing going on. So, but if you're into that, definitely check this out. Total Tank Girl. So this next one I'm going to visit is I read this, Victoria gave me a box that had all kinds of cool stuff in it from our past together, from our friendship. And one of them was a fanzine that I had written. And in the fanzine, as I was looking through it, I did a review of this book. And I had forgotten that I had even read it. And so I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I don't still have that book, so let me Amazon it and read it again. So I did, and I was not disappointed. In fact, I ended up loving this book even more. The Philosophy of Punk. So this is a guy's sort of his final project for college was sort of his thesis on punk rock. He chose a great subject. He chose punk rock. And that was, what he did his thesis on. And this is so good. It's not extensive on any one thing, but it covers everything. So, it goes into everything from, Oi, the skinhead movement in punk rock. It covers queercore. It covers Riot Girl, the Riot Girl movement, everything. If it happened in punk rock in the early 90s and the late 80s and 70s and stuff, it's covered in this. So this is if you're a fan of punk rock, or even if you're not, this will kind of give you an insight into what the hell was going on there. A great read, absolutely incredible. This guy, I hope he got an A for that, just saying. So I just finished this book. I just finished reading this. I think Elijah bought me this book, and because we really like the movie so much. This is Call Me by Your Name. This is a fantastic novel. If you're a fan of the movie, you owe it to yourself to read the book, because it's more in Elio's head. You get to sort of hear his thoughts and see, what's going on there, because in the movie, I don't think, whereas there's some great acting going on there, but in the book more so, you kind of get a clearer picture that he's really pushing the agenda the whole time, and you know, you get to see what he really wants out of it. So if you like the movie, definitely check the book out. It's so good. Call Me by Your Name, wonderful book. So this is a reread for me. I've always been a big fan of Andy Dean as far as musician. Whenever I found out he was writing books like when they were on tour. Andy Dean is the lead vocalist for Bella Morte. He's from Virginia. He is such a great lyricist and great vocalist. And then I found out that while they were on the road to sort of kill time between shows or whatever, or, you know, in transit, whatever the case may be, Andy was writing. And one of the books that he wrote was The Styx. So most of you know that I'm a werewolf freak. And in fact, you know, that was my trail name whenever I hiked the Appalachian Trail. So, you know, werewolf, it's my thing. So this is a werewolf novel. I think this was Andy's second, if I'm not mistaken. I think he wrote something before this, but it was definitely his first werewolf novel. And it is set in Jefferson, Virginia, rural Virginia. The characters are so likable. The main character, Brian, is very, very similar to, like, I totally get it. He grew up in a small town, so relatable. I can totally relate to this character so much. And you know, he's a horror movie fan. You know, he has this romance, and, you know, introduces her to his favorite horror movie, which incidentally happens to be one of my favorite horror movies also. I'm gonna hold that for a future video. So if you want to find out what my favorite horror movie is, you'll have to read The Styx. Great book though, it's worth it. And last but not least, yet another werewolf story. This is by David Wellington. This is called Frostbite. Now, David Wellington is quickly becoming one of my favorite writers. The stuff that he's put out has been so good. He has a vampire series that is so completely different from any other vampire novels or vampire stories I've ever seen. Probably the closest thing to it would be 30 Days a Night. His vampires are monstrous. You know, they have the shark-like teeth. They're sentient, of course. They're bestial, but at the same time, they're really intelligent. Anyway, that's a whole nother ballgame. That series is incredible. So I read that, and then, you know, I read Frostbite. So there are two books. There's Frostbite and there's Overwinter. And Overwinter is the sequel to Frostbite, and the story ends there. But Frostbite is so good. You follow the character Cheyenne, and that's another thing I really like about David Wellington is he usually uses his main characters are usually female, but they're tough. You know, they're definitely not the victimized. You know, they're hardcore. And in this case, the main character Cheyenne is. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she was like some kind of special forces, Canadian special forces. And she's on her way into the northern Canadian territory to hunt down and take down a werewolf, which it's understood that they exist in this world. It's understood. They're real. Werewolves are real. They exist. So, you know, you don't have to suspend disbelief there because they do it for you. But the government has an interest, of course, like they always do, whether it's American, Canadian, whatever. But the Canadian government has an interest in, you know, her target. And so, you know, the story kind of compounds from there. It's a great read, and it's hard to put down. So if you're into werewolf novels, or if you're into just good suspense, good action, grab a blanket, because when you're reading this one and you're in the snow and they're describing the cold, you're definitely gonna need it, because you're gonna need something hot to drink, maybe a hot toddy, and a blanket. Trust me, Trust me on this one. Wonderful. So that's all the books I have now. Oh, by the way, I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I'm coming to you right now. It's actually Christmas Day. I want to wish everybody happy holidays. Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. But we love you guys. Thank you so much. We're up to 57 subscribers now. So please, guys, please tell your friends, subscribe to us, leave comments, let us know what kind of content you want. You know, we cover everything from pop culture to Poshmark selling and hauls and things like that. Please tell your friends about us. Sign up and subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell down there so you can get updates on when we have new videos coming out, and we're coming out with new videos all the time. Victoria and Gaela, more so than myself, are really on top of that. So, and hopefully we'll be doing some more stuff together. Those are always really fun. I have so much more fun when Victoria and Gaela are there. But if you like this video, hit the like button down there, please. Smash that like button. Leave us comments. Keep watching. Stay tuned, because the bigger we get, you know, the more awesome content we're gonna have. So we love you guys. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and we'll see you in the next video.